I have to confess, I think about food a lot. Not in that obsessive kind of way, but what I do every day is I talk to people about food. But I also like food. I love it. I love it. I love it. But I'm constantly curious about it. Why do we eat? What does food mean to us? How does it affect our lives? These are all questions that I think about, and the ones I'm going to talk about in this episode. I want to talk to you about the goal for food. So stand by and let's have a show. If you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. And here on this show, I help to encourage you. I help to educate you. I help to empower you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and live a healthy, fulfilling life going to the next level. This is Diabetes Awareness Month, and you've caught us in the middle of it. We are doing shows every day talking about diabetes, talking about the awareness. And the goal is every November to educate the public, to dispel some of the myths that might be out there, and to help people realize that they can live a long, healthy life, that they can prevent the progression to diabetes, that they can prevent the complications. And what I've been doing this last month so far is we've been doing a show talking about the various parts of diabetes. There is a playlist that's on the website that gives you all of the things that we've done so far. And as we go through the month, I'm going to be adding each show to that. So go back if you have not already done so and watch that. If you know somebody who has diabetes, go ahead and send it to them. Go ahead and help them subscribe. You subscribe, give us a like, let us know that you are getting some benefit from what we're doing over the next month. And that's so exciting to me, right? It's so exciting to me that I am able to share this information, share this knowledge with you, right? So let's hop into it. So food is essential for the body, right? It produces energy. When we eat, our body breaks it down, we get nutrients, and we get energy. And that process is called metabolism. But there are some things that we do, right? Some reasons that we eat food that has nothing to do with energy. So what are some of those reasons? Well, we celebrate. Like I just came from a wedding. And you know what they had at the wedding? Food, lots of food. Hey guys, congratulations, by the way. I know you guys are not watching me right now. You're off getting ready to leave on your honeymoon. But we were so excited that we were there with you. But we celebrate weddings. We celebrate birthdays, holidays, and other special occasions. So we celebrate. We show affection, right? So we cook for people. When we have someone that we are interested in, we may take them out to dinner and we sit and we eat. And so the other reasons are we show affection and we bond over food. A shared experience, right? Going out to dinner, going to get some drinks with friends. We relax, right? Get out of our routine and we sit down and we have a cookie and we have a muffin and we have a drink. We eat for comfort. Right? There's that warm bowl of soup that you give to someone, that home cooked meal, right? All of those reasons. We eat to stay awake. I do that one, right? And don't judge me. Okay. Don't judge me. To stay awake, right? Because sometimes I'm here and I'm not going to tell you a bag of what I have right here, right? To stay awake. When I was in medical school, you know what we did to stay awake? We ate. When you had to run down to the ER, and this is RSV season right now. When you had to take care of those kids, you know what you did? You ate to stay awake. We eat to soothe emotions. When we're mad, when we're sad, when we're happy, when we're stressed, when we're anxious, when depressed. All of those reasons are reasons why we eat food. And we also eat when we're bored. Right, yeah? There's nothing else to do, right? So, hey, I'm awake. There's nothing to do. Let me eat. How many times have you gone and just opened the refrigerator and you start from the top and you look through and you close the refrigerator and you walk away and you come back and you open the door and, right? Does that happen with you? Yeah. So there are all these things that we use food for. I know in my personal life, when we get together with family, we celebrate, we eat, right? And coming up here soon in just how many days now? Just maybe a couple of weeks. We've got this big food day coming up, right? What's it called? Yeah, Thanksgiving. And then we've got Christmas. Then we got New Year's. Then we got birthdays. And we got anniversaries. And we got on and on and on and on and on and on. And so it's a wonder that there are so many things that food, there's no wonder that we are sometimes confused about food. Yeah. So what is the purpose of food? It's an essential, right? Metabolism occurs every time we eat. Every cell in our body needs energy. And food is essential for life. Without energy, we would not function. Every time we breathe, our heart beats. When we move, our muscle, right? I'm a hand talker, right? So I'm moving my hands. When I use my hands, guess what I'm using? I'm using energy. So it's safe to say that food is essential for the body to produce energy and to maintain life. And when that goes awry, that's when we start to have illness. And so let's hop over. We're going to talk just briefly about what goes on with food. And we're going to set the stage for some other episodes that we have that are coming up. But we got to understand this before we can get to those. All right. So food. Let's hop over here. So food goes into our mouths. We're not talking about what kind of food right now. So food, and then the process of breaking it down into its components is called digestion, right? So you put a hamburger in your mouth, yum, right? Or cheeseburger. You put a hot dog. You put a piece of steak. You put a sandwich. You put cookies, candy, ice cream. Goes into the mouth, and that has to be broken down into component parts. That's called digestion. And then all of those things that are broken down go to, and I have energy there. There's another thing that it goes to, right? To build the body. So the body's always repairing itself. So some of what we eat goes to that repair process. Here specifically, we're talking about energy. So food into the mouth, we chew it up, right? It goes into our GI tract. Well, it starts in the GI tract and goes further down. And then the body breaks it into its parts, absorbs it into the blood. And then that goes for energy and to build things in the body. Build muscles, build bones, build nerves, all those types of things, right? Also goes to repair, right? Repair is another one. If we think about food as the gas that you put in your car, right? It's the energy, gas is the energy of the body that the car uses. And so food is what we convert to energy, right? All the things that we eat. And just like when you go to the gas station, right now, you can get, four. I was going to think about three types of gas, right? There's that 87 octane, 89 octane, and 93 octane. But then I forgot there's also diesel. Right. So if you don't think about diesel for a minute, right? You got those three things. Of course, gas right now the price is crazy, right? But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So food comes in the same way. There are three different macronutrients. Those are the main components of food: proteins, fats, and carbs. And once again, the goal for that, right, other than the things we talked about, to stay awake, for bonding, for affection, for soothing, all those things, the goal is energy. So the food that we eat, proteins, fats, carbs, digestion, and then it goes to produce energy. When we talk about diabetes, right, we'll talk particularly about carbohydrates. But if you think about all those different components, all the different components in the things that we just talked about, proteins, carbs, and fats, right? They all get broken into smaller parts. That's the digestion and the absorption, right? So proteins produce amino acids. Carbohydrates produce simple sugars, which ultimately produce glucose. And fats produce something called fatty acids and glycerol. And we'll come back, not on this show, but in future shows, to talk about those different components. But I want to lay the foundation for this, right? Ultimately, once again, you'll see there at the bottom, energy is the goal. And in parentheses, building, right? So we're not going to talk about building right now. That's a whole nother. Right? Because remember, we're talking about diabetes in this month. And so we're going to focus on the part of the digestion and absorption and metabolism. So by the way, that's the word. If you see that word, right, as it relates to nutrition and food and diabetes, right, metabolism is the process of taking the food and converting it and using it in the body. But remember, ultimately the goal is energy. Energy is what we want. And that diagram that I just showed you, right? Let's go back to, this one right here. So this diagram is what occurs when there is food around. Like when you eat something, right? But the body also does something else. So the energy that we're getting from food, so the food is being broken down and is going to produce energy. But we sometimes eat more than the energy that we need, right? So what happens to the excess? The excess, right, beyond what we need. And so right now we eat something and the body uses it for breathing and moving and thinking and for the heart rate and all those things. But the excess has to be stored. And so the body stores it. It sends it off to different tissues to store it. It's kind of like when you go to the grocery store and you buy stuff, you buy food, and you come home, like say you go to the grocery store and you're going to cook dinner tonight, and you buy all the stuff you need for dinner, but you also buy other things, right? So you come home and the stuff that you're going to eat right now, you cook it, and the other things that you purchased, the other groceries, what do you do with them? Well, you put them in the pantry, you put them in the freezer, you put it in the refrigerator, you put it in the cabinets. You're storing it until you need it later. And that's what the body does. We eat, we get energy that we use immediately, and then the excess, the body stores. Make sense so far? So when we talk about diabetes, we're talking about sugar. And we've said that the problem with diabetes is that the sugar, the glucose that comes from the food, can't get into the cell. Right? So follow what I'm saying. So we said that the goal for food is energy. And so if we eat and the body digests the food, that is, breaks it down. Because remember, breaking down is just taking it apart. It hasn't gone anywhere yet. We haven't used it for anything. We haven't metabolized it. All we've done is broken that sandwich down. The sandwich has been broken down, and now we have glucose. And glucose is floating around your cell. All right, or floating around your blood. And glucose, the sugar, can't get into the door of the cell. It's sitting on the outside. So there's all this energy that's floating around in your blood. Well, all this glucose that needs to be turned into energy. Right? All this glucose is floating around. And in order for it to get to the place where it needs to be, it's got to go through the door. And the problem is that we don't have easy access to that. And that's the whole insulin issue, right? Either we don't have insulin as it relates to type 1, or the insulin that we have is not adequate. It's not being used appropriately. Or it's not functioning well. And we'll come back and we'll add those pieces together. Okay? So food gets digested, gets broken down to its components. The goal is energy. In diabetes, we've got a problem because we got this glucose, but we can't convert it to energy. because it cannot get into the cell. And that causes other problems. And we'll talk about those as we get into our other shows. All right. So that's the goal. That's the goal. Is to take the carbs, digest them, and convert them to energy. An interesting thing happens when we talk about carbohydrates. And this is where this other component is going to come in. And that is this guy that we call insulin, right? Because insulin plays a big part. So let's go through this. So let's assume this is a normal process. This is not diabetes. We're going to come back to diabetes, right? Later. But you eat some carbs. You eat a sandwich. Delicious. The sandwich gets broken down into sugar. We said that. And we don't need insulin for that, right? The body has all these enzymes, amylase that breaks it down. And anyway, you don't need to know all those. It's in the stomach. It gets broken down. It goes into the gut. Body absorbs it. Now we have sugar. When the pancreas sees the sugar coming, right, sees it, oh, look at that. Then the pancreas releases insulin. When the pancreas sees sugar coming, it releases insulin because it's, hey, I've got to do something with this, right? This is a normal process now, not diabetes. We haven't gotten there yet. And so when the insulin comes out, the insulin says to the body, and let me go back to this slide, a couple of slides prior. All right, this one. So the insulin says, hey, I got to open the door. So the insulin opens the door and the sugar goes in. And now we get energy. Because the glucose, the sugar, was able to get into the cell to produce the energy. That's normal. The other thing that happens, once again, is because we've eaten more than the energy that we need right now, the body says, I've got to store some of it. So where does it store it? Right? It sends it to different places. Right? And this, I'm putting this diagram up. We're going to come back and talk about this in future videos. So remember, we'll show this to you again. It says, hey, I got to store some of it. I got to put it in the cabinets. I got to put some in the freezer. I got to put some in the pantry. Right? Put some in the cellar, wherever you store your food. So that's what happens. Excess food gets stored. And that's going to have consequences as we move into some of the other discussions. Okay? So let's pop back over here. All right, so that's insulin. So insulin comes out. Now, here's how insulin works. The pancreas sees sugar, the insulin goes up. The body uses what it needs right now for energy, and the excess, based on the insulin tells the body, hey, now you need to start putting some of this storage away. And so in the normal body, when the sugar starts going into the cells, when they start getting stored, the excess energy, the blood sugar level goes down. And when blood sugar goes down, the pancreas says, I don't have a lot of sugar anymore, so I can decrease the insulin. So sugar goes down, insulin goes down, everything is great. When you eat again, the body sees more sugar. Insulin goes back up. Insulin takes excess after you've used what you need and it stores it. Blood sugar goes down. Insulin goes back down. Everything is great. That's a normal process. That's how insulin works. And then when you're not eating, right? When you're not eating, then the body goes and it finds the store, right? So for instance, using the cooking example, when you come home, you cook, you eat what you need, you put the rest in the pantry. And when the food is done and it's time for another meal, what do? You go back to the pantry, you go back to the refrigerator or the freezer, you get some more food out and you cook it and you eat it. So that's what the body's doing. When you're not eating, right? And you need energy, it goes and finds the energy that you stored and it brings it back out and you get to eat it. Amazing. Love it. Love it. When that process goes awry, when that process breaks down, that's when we get insulin resistance, and then ultimately prediabetes and diabetes. So we're going to be talking about those as we come to our future shows, right? But I just wanted to lay this foundation there. All right, this is a great place for us to have our amazing question wheel. Boom, boom. All right. So if you've been here, you know that our amazing question wheel is on the screen. And what this is, you'll see questions that are on this wheel, and those questions I will answer. So I'm going to spin the wheel. Whatever it lands on, that's the question I'm going to answer. Right? And here's the caveat. This is what makes it fun. I've got to give you a usable, practical, concise answer to that question, and I've got to answer it in 45 seconds. Yeah, that's right. So it's going to spin the wheel. I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to gather my thoughts, and then I'm going to put 45 seconds on the clock. Got to answer it in 45 seconds. And then I'm going to clip that part of the answer out, and I'm going to create a little video with it, and we're going to post it on all of our social media platforms. Okay? On all of our social media platforms. And that's going to be Dwayne Wood MD, Dwayne Wood MD. Let me pop this up so you can see it. It's right there under my name, right? Dwayne Wood MD on LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. What else? Facebook? Yeah. All right. So all of those social platforms, you'll find it there. So let's go back to our amazing question wheel. So let's see. Let's go ahead and let's spin the wheel and let's see where we head. Round and round and round it goes. Where it stops, I don't know. Let's see. What does it say? Can people with diabetes still have a family, career, and a full life? Oh, I love this question. This is a good one. Let's see. Can people with diabetes still have a family, career, and full life? Family, career, full life. Yeah. I like this question. All right, let's get 45 seconds on the clock. 45 seconds on the screen, and here we go. Can people with diabetes still have family, career, and full life? All right. So can people with diabetes have a family, full career, and a full life? Or family, career, and a full life? Can people with diabetes have a family, career, and full life? And the answer is yes. One of the goals that we have when we are educating, when I'm educating, is to help people realize they can have a full, healthy, fulfilling life. But we've got to either prevent the progression to diabetes, or if you have diabetes, treat it and keep your blood sugars in the normal range, along with blood pressure and cholesterol. So yes, the answer is you can have a full life. All right, did I get it? All right, I think I answered that I think I answered that in less than 45 seconds, right? All right. So that's it. So what I wanted you to do is I want you to find that video on all of our social media platforms, and I want you to type in the comments, #I was there. If you're watching this on the replay, you can find it as well and say #I was there, because you saw me do it on the live show, right? So even though you're not here right now, if you're watching the replay, go ahead and put that, find it on the social media platforms and put #I was there. If you're watching this video, I want you to put #replay, right? So #replay on this video, right? And then for the amazing question wheel, if you have questions that you want us to answer, go ahead and send us to us. You can send it to us on any of our social media platforms, Dwayne Wood MD, or you could send it through email, right? So dwood@dwaynewoodmd.com, dwood@dwaynewoodmd.com, right? All right. If you're getting benefit from this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and share this with your family and with your friends, right? All right. And we'll talk about that again here in a minute. We all need to eat food to live. But why do we really eat? What is the purpose of food? There are many reasons that we have, right? So we use it for emotions, for bonding, for connecting, when we're bored, when we're tired, right? So on and on and on. In short, we eat for a variety of reasons. But one thing is clear: food is essential for our survival. Without it, we would perish. We would not function. So the next time you sit down for a meal, take a moment to appreciate all the wonderful things that food does for us. It is life itself. I'm glad that you are here. I'm glad that you took time to watch this video. Once again, if you are watching this on the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay. If you're here, give us a thumbs up. Like, share, and subscribe. In order to subscribe, you need to create a free YouTube account, and then go into that account, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you will get notified whenever new content comes on the channel. All right, that's how you subscribe. If you know someone who's having trouble subscribing, go ahead and help them within that process as well. I am trying to grow this community. I'm trying to grow this channel. This lets everyone know that you appreciate the content. It lets me know what content you appreciate and what else we can do. If you have got questions, if you have other things you want us to do, go ahead and put those in. You can DM me, Dwayne Wood MD. You see that there on the screen right below me here. So, yeah, let's see. Over here. Nope, the other side. Yeah, right there. Okay. This is Diabetes Awareness Month. Watch all the videos that we've done so far and come on back, right? This video that we're doing right now, we're going to continue this discussion as we get into things like insulin resistance, proteins and fats, and how do we prevent insulin resistance. That's amazing, right? So that's ultimately what we want to do. So I'm glad you're here once again. Thanks for coming. Watch the shows, and we will see you at the next visit. This is Dr. Dwayne Wood. Not the next visit. I think I'm in the office. That's what I say, right? I'll see you at the next visit. But here, see you in the next episode. This is Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. And here on this channel, I help to educate, I help to empower, and I help to encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, and go to that next level, living the life you've always wanted. Thank you, and we'll see you at the next video.